Okay, here we go.
Hello. Okay, a couple items for all of you at the top. First, welcome Andrew Bates, our new Deputy Press Secretary. Anyone who covered the Biden campaign knows Andrew quite well. And he just joined our team after staying on the transition for the last 2 months. Okay, this Wednesday, the president will be laying out the first of two equally critical packages to rebuild our economy and create better-paying jobs for American workers.
Better-paying union jobs,
He'll talk this week about investments we need to make in domestic manufacturing. I also note that he's doing this in Pittsburgh, where he launched his campaign for the presidency just 2 years ago.
And killed
Today,
thousands
the
of jobs by
CDC
ending the
announced
Keystone
a 90-day extension
pipeline.
of the federal eviction moratorium was scheduled to expire
Little
on March
guilt there.
31st and is now extended. Good-paying union jobs.
There's your union job.
Recognizes that a thriving offshore wind industry will drive new jobs and economic opportunity
Not
up
for
and down
Americans.
the Atlantic coast, in the Gulf of Mexico, and in Pacific waters. We just released a fact sheet on this announcement, pretty detailed.
That's the cat.
The Department of Interior, Energy, and Commerce announced a shared goal to deploy 30 gigawatts of offshore wind in the United States by 2030.
That should power at least 12 light bulbs
Protecting ocean
for 15
resilience.
minutes.
Meeting this target
Good job.
Will trigger good-paying union jobs with more than 44,000
Union jobs.
employed in
Cash that
offshore
in,
wind
Joe.
by
Union jobs.
2030,
Union jobs.
and nearly
Union jobs.
33,000
Union jobs. Union jobs. Union jobs.
supported by
It's all about
offshore
union jobs.
wind
You
activity.
obviously owe your whole
It will
butt
also generate
to
enough
the
power to
unions.
meet the demand
It's
of more than
it's
10 million
clear with the
American
teachers,
homes
and you're
avoid
making it more
78
clear.
million metric tons
Trying to buy back that
Additionally,
cancellation
the
you
U.S.
got from
Department of
canceling
Maritime
all those
Administration today is announcing a notice
pipe
of
fitting
funding
jobs.
opportunity for port authorities and other applicants to apply for $230 million for port and intermodal infrastructure related projects.
I need some infrastructure on my wardrobe.
Program.
Can I apply
Last
for
item,
millions of
is I have,
dollars in
an
grant
update
money
you
for
on the
that?
flooding that has occurred in the
Wardrobe
Tennessee
and
Valley. The Department of Homeland
toys,
Security and
electronic
News Sources
toys,
report 4
and
fatalities and
maybe
over
some
150
drones.
rescued in the Tennessee Valley as heavy rainfall swamped the area, flooding
Blah,
homes
blah,
and
blah,
roads,
Jen.
including parts of Nashville. The President and the White House continue to monitor the situation very closely and stand at the ready should any federal assistance be requested or required.
Stand
this
at the
time,
ready.
No request for
All he's
federal
got to do is
assistance
sign a piece of
have
paper.
come in. The
I can
National
see Joe.
Weather Service
Can't you just
reports
see
over
him?
9 inches of rain
Corn
has
pop.
fallen over the past 24 hours, of course, causing this
Corn pop.
massive flooding.
Hey, I got it.
Jonathan, kick us off.
I got to sign this corn pop.
The CDC director.
And the president has not held back in calling for
Here's one of those calls.
leaders, the American people, to continue to abide by guidelines, whether they are mask mandates, federal land and buildings, or on
Andrew.
travel.
Hey, Joe Biden. How are you?
Encouraging people to
So I see there's another accuser
he will
out
do that through all of these events, and of course,
saying you touched her inappropriately. In fact, I saw a picture of you kissing a woman on the mouth. What's up with that? Andrew? I mean, I still got your back. Don't worry. I'm never not going to have your back. I don't care if you killed people. I still got your back. Oh, you did already. That's right. I forgot. I got your back. I got your back, Andrew. Don't worry about it.
the White House and the president will leave the mechanics of bill passing to Leader Schumer and other leaders in Congress. Our focus is not proposing.
I don't believe that
an
for a
agenda, an
second.
ambitious
Not
agenda
1
to
second I
invest
don't
in
believe that.
infrastructure, to help caregivers across the country, to ensure that we are doing more to help Americans get through this challenging period. He, of course, believes that investing in our infrastructure, continuing to create good-paying union jobs, is
Union
front
jobs!
and center. But he also believes that we have an opportunity
How
to
pathetic. I mean, that's
rebalance,
just
to
so-
to address
it's
our
disgusting.
tax code that is out of date.
I have
and,
not heard her
some could pay more in
push
our country
any
that are
other
not
group of
currently.
people
On that front, just a
other than unions.
clarification. Last week you said the tax
He is completely bought out by the
the
unions,
president is
completely 100% bought out by the unions.
individuals and
He can't do
households. Is that
anything without the union's approval.
Does the White House say to moderates who might be concerned that hiking the corporate tax rate to say 28% will be a drag on growth?
We haven't seen evidence in that from economists, but if they have alternative proposals to how to pay for investing in our nation's infrastructure, rebuilding our roads and our railways, and putting Americans back to work, we're happy to hear it.
And then finally, on the vaccine, Andy Slavitt talked about the idea of a vaccine passport in the COVID briefing this morning. He said it's primarily going to be spearheaded by the private sector, but What's the president's position on whether, once the vaccine is more readily available, businesses should be able to tell employees who don't want to get the vaccine for whatever reason that they can't come back into the workplace, or that airlines could reject people?
Here's my question.
If they
Here's my
decide
question.
not to get a vaccine?
If you get the
We're
vaccine
going to provide guidance,
and I
just as
don't,
we have through
why
the
do you
CDC.
care? Why do
There's
you give
currently,
two
an
flips?
interagency
Because you've been
process that is looking
vaccinated.
at many of the
What I
questions
carry,
around
what I
vaccine
spread,
verification.
doesn't matter to you
And
because you've
that
been
issue will
vaccinated.
touch many
What's it
agencies,
matter?
as
Somebody answer that.
verification is an issue
If
that will
you got the
potentially touch many
vaccine
sectors of
and all these
society,
other
as
people
you
on
have
the left got the
certainly
vaccine and are
alluded to.
demanding everybody
That's
else in the
guidance
world
will
gets the
provide.
vaccine,
We
well, if you're
expect, as
vaccinated,
Andy
you
Slavitt
should
has
not
alluded
give
to,
a
that,
flip
a
about anybody
determination
else
or
who's
development
vaccinated.
of
Because you're
vaccine
cured.
passport or whatever you want to call it will be driven
Aren't you?
by the private sector. Ours will
Maybe
be
that's the question.
focused on guidelines that can be used as a basis. And there are a couple key principles that we are working from. One is that there will be no centralized universal federal vaccinations database and no federal mandate requiring everyone to obtain a single vaccination credential. Second, we want to encourage an open marketplace with a variety of private sector companies and nonprofit coalitions developing solutions. And third, we want to drive the market toward meeting public interest goals.
But
So
you got
we'll
no
leverage
problem
our
if the private
resources,
sector
to
demands
ensure that
you
all
have a
vaccination
vaccine. Like, you
credential
can't walk
systems
into Walmart
meet key
unless you got a
standards,
vaccine.
whether that's
You
universal
can't order a
accessibility,
product off of
affordability,
Amazon
availability,
unless you
both
got a
digitally and
vaccine.
on paper.
You don't have a problem with
But
that,
those are our
do you?
standards. It's currently going
No.
through an interagency process. We'll make some recommendations. and then,
Two-faced
we
bullshit
believe
is what
it
I
will
call
be
it.
driven by the
Two-faced
private sector.
bull.
When do you anticipate those guidelines will?
I didn't say
come
the
out?
I
second
don't have
time.
a timeline. An event that really opened up a wound in the American public, and it really.
You know what really
it
opened up the
brought to
wound
light
was the
for a
nearly
lot of
30
in this
people that got
country,
killed as a
just the
result,
kind of
was
racial
the
injustice
billions of
and
dollars in
inequality that many
damage that the
communities are
government didn't do
experiencing every
anything
single
about.
day.
That's
And
what really
we'll be
opened
watching
up a
it
wound.
closely.
Why don't you
You'll
talk to those
certainly
shop
be
owners who
provided
watched
updates.
their shop
Obviously, this is
burn
a
to the
trial that's
ground?
working
The
its way through
black
law
shop
enforcement
owners
or a
who
legal
watched their
process, so we
shop
wouldn't
burn
weigh
to
in
the
further
ground
than that.
for
But these
justice
were
for George
events that
Floyd,
at
the
the time he
fentanyl
spoke
addict
about as,
who was on
being just a
methamphetamine
reminder of
at
also
the same
who
time.
too, and it certainly impacted how he's
Overdosed.
thought about in his own government, making equity.
There's your
central to what we
wound,
do,
but you're gonna ignore that,
instituting and
aren't you?
putting in
Why?
place, racial injustice and addressing racial injustice as a priority. One of the key crises that he believes he
Crises?
is facing.
Now
and we are
that's
all
not
facing
even
as
a
country.
fucking
So
word.
it'll be it will continue to be
Crises.
central.
He also committed to creating this National Police Oversight Commission during his first 100 days in office. Has
Hadn't
that
done
been
it.
created yet? Is that still on track to being created?
No, forgot all about
We're
it.
encouraged first by the interest and engagement by members of the House and Senate in the George Floyd bill.
Throw those
which,
hands out there. She
is
starts
making
directing that
progress, and there's
concerto
discussions that are active at this point in
because
time.
we
That's
haven't
really where our
created this
focus
thing that
is
we
going
lied
to
about
be,
in the first
at this
100
moment.
days.
We believe that, and he believes, I should say, that it is imperative to put in place in order to rebuild trust among communities, that there needs to be accountability and there needs to be systems in place to ensure that, and laws changed to ensure that that can be carried out. So that is where our focus is. The president
She didn't answer that
supports
question.
Piece of legislation.
I'll tell you, lady, no, they have not
He will receive a
convened
landmark
your
status.
commission.
Still be established in his first 100 days in office?
No.
I don't have any update on it other than to convey that this bill is an opportunity to put in place a number of the actions that
No.
that many in the advocacy
Smile as you
community,
lie, girl.
Feel are imperative at this point in our country's history.
Kind of an open question.
He's racist because he
I don't have
didn't.
any update on the timeline, but I think
He's
what's
racist.
important to note
I think
is
she
that
just
the
confirmed
George
he's
Floyd
racist.
bill, which
Sorry.
put in place
President of the
and made
United States
law,
is racist.
a number of the
And by
accountability
proxy, so is
measures and
Jen.
actions that
Jen is
he and
racist
so
as a
many who
result.
watch these events in horror
Who am
feel are
I
imperative at this
advertising
point in our
on
country.
here?
One last question. I just got back from the border. I spoke with Texas state troopers who said they have never seen this many unaccompanied minors crossing the United States border. Are you guys
Never.
tracking that timeline for this current surge? That it's
Never.
going to last
Jen's
seven
going to
months or
say
more?
it's normal, though.
What we're working to do is put in place
Never.
steps and
Record
actions
numbers
to
of
help,
people.
Address,
Dance around
the
this, you
situation at the
lying
border,
sack of
including, of course,
crap.
expediting processing.
Admit
and
you
opening up
failed.
additional
God, you
shelters,
would just get
but
so
also
much more-
reinstituting policies like the Central American
so much
Minors
more
Program to encourage young
respect
people to
if you
apply
just
in their
admit
country
that you have
and not
made
make
a
that
mistake.
treacherous
God,
journey.
why is that so
We are also in a
hard?
circumstance where we are digging out of a broken system over the past 4 years, not just the inhumane
Too late.
policies, But the fact that there
What's
were
going
never
on
efforts
now
put in
is a
place
result
to,
of your
look
failure
for,
seas.
And seek shelters
Failure
where these
seas.
children could be
Because
safely
this
and humanely housed. They had a different
administration is
policy
full of
than
failure
the president
seas
has, of
because
course.
your
But also there was a
policies
hiring
are
freeze
failure
at
seas.
ORR,
No matter
in the
hiring
Refugee Resettlement
freeze.
Office, which
What
made
a
it
waste of
something that we had
seas.
to also dig out of when we started.
Lion
so
seas.
That's where our focus.
Just a couple of follow-ups. On the commission, there was some talk that would be among the first things that he did in his first week or two in office. Did something happen that kind of took that off the table and took your focus more towards the legislative efforts?
No, I think it's just a reflection of I just don't have an update on it, but we are working with, very closely with outside advocacy groups, with many who
You're
have been
getting called on
passionately
your
fighting
bullshit.
for greater accountability and greater reforms to be put in place, and we're looking for the most effective means to get that done.
No, you had
And
forgotten
the
about
George
it until
Floyd
that
bill is
woman
an
just brought it
opportunity
up.
to do
That's the
exactly
fact
that.
of the
So
matter.
that's where we are putting our energy and efforts at this point, about the process and our scientific analysis of
Processes.
the report itself. I would send you to the SEC on that for any further comments. But
He's
we,
asking what
of
the
course,
White
are
House
monitoring as an
is
administration.
commenting on that, not what the
Last
SEC is
Psaki, do you have
commenting.
any
That's
updates
why he
on
asked
the
you,
White House
Jen.
is thinking about
not the
sanctions,
SEC.
again?
Well, I would say that the president travels, as does the vice president, on a private plane. That is the purview of every
It's not
president,
private.
vice
We
president
own it.
throughout
That's a government
American
plane.
history. That is, of course, different than traveling on a commercial flight and going to mass events. As you know,
Rules
we don't,
for
the
you,
president is
not for
hosting
me,
rallies,
whatever this
nor
saying
the,
is,
The
yeah.
vice president, we take the role of being models quite seriously. But I think
Rules
we're
for
still-
thee, not for me. That's what it is. And that's exactly what's going on.
Go ahead.
Thanks, Jen.
She just flat out said, we're special and we'll do what we want.
When you said that it would be paid
Monkey.
dollar for dollar, we can't end the pandemic without vaccinating kids. The argument is basically that over time there will be mutations that could be more dangerous for children. What is the administration doing to prepare for the possibility of vaccinating children? And does the president have a specific time?
We're not
period
doing
for when
anything.
he
We're
will
leading that
see
all up
children
to the
begin
scientists
to get the
because we
vaccine?
are
we
about
leave that
science.
to our health and medical experts and the FDA. The president wants to nominate people who are qualified, who have a breadth of experience, who bring perspective.
A breadth
to,
of experience? I
these
hope you got
roles.
more than a
And
breadth.
obviously, he seeks to
Nominate people of color and people of
any individuals to serve
non-normal
in his
or
administration.
conventional
But we'll
sexual
look forward to
orientation,
discussing
should I
further at
say.
the point when
So
we're ready to announce
basically,
nominees.
don't expect any
If I could just quickly follow up on
straight
Jeff's
white men.
question.
Sure.
Sorry.
Is it the White House position that the CDC travel guidelines don't apply if you have a private plane?
I think the president, he was asking me specifically about the president's travel and
You
the
just got
vice
called on your
president's travel,
bullshit.
and the specifics of the.
Can we expect him to make a trip to Walter Reed soon for his physical, and will you commit to releasing a comprehensive health report in the near future?
Absolutely, I don't have a timeline, but absolutely we will
As
do that.
long as there's no
and,
cognitive test in
I'll
there,
check and see when
absolutely.
he's due to go back to the doctor. Go ahead.
Hi, Psaki, Rachel Sutherland, Fox News Radio.
Hi, Rachel.
Wanted to follow up on Juan Gonzalez's recent trip to Guatemala.
Mhm.
And what kind of progress is made? I understand that Ambassador Jacobson also went to Mexico, maybe to Guatemala as well.
Mhm.
What kind of progress on addressing the root causes of mass migration can you give us?
Well, I think this was their first trip. We just announced an envoy as well
I'll answer for
to
you.
the region, which shows
Well,
our
they went
focus
down there, and what
emphasis
they
on addressing
discovered
the root
was
causes. And of
what's
course, the
going
Vice
on
President of the
now.
United
What's
States will
going
be,
on now at the border
helping lead that
is
effort,
completely
specifically the root
due
causes,
to
not the border.
Donald
There's some
Trump.
confusion over that.
That's what they discovered, so
I don't have,
we're
I
going
know
with
we did
that.
a readout
Let's blame
after
Donald
the,
Trump.
meetings and the trips
Have a
last
nice
week.
day.
I don't have additional
Next.
an additional readout for you, other than to convey that we know this will be a diplomatic process. Our view is it's not if, but when we work through with these countries, the best ways we can work together to address root causes. And the president has also proposed an immigration bill that includes $400 billion in funding to help address the root causes as well and help ensure that families and individuals who are making this trip.
So now we're not only socialism in America, we're socialism in Central America. We're going to just start paying universal income to people in Central America as well. That's awesome.
That's going to be set up.
Thanks, Jen. On Georgia's new laws restricting voting, President Biden called them last week I think the most pernicious thing. Does the White House believe now that the laws have been signed that companies or individual consumers should boycott Georgia or Georgia businesses? Like, what should people do who don't have a voting Congress to vote on the voting laws?
The people of Georgia?
The people of Georgia, people across the country.
They should elect new leaders. They can take steps like any individual can take as an American citizen to have their voice heard and exercise their democratic right.
But does he believe that people should boycott? There are increasing calls for them.
That's not a call we're making from here.
Good.
Said that we're dealing with an acute, immediate childcare crisis in America.
I don't see anything cute about it.
Part of his infrastructure initiative, and Wednesday we will hear more about his physical.
That's why they pushed so hard to get the American Rescue Plan passed, that ensured that millions of families could get funding through the child tax credit, could get $1,400 checks out to a large number
Listen
of
to
families
her.
across
Listen.
the country, 100
Listen.
million which have already gone out. Why the earned income tax credit was something he fought to have in there as well. But he believes that that's not enough and we need to do more. And so he's looking forward to in a
Because,
couple of
as
weeks
you
laying out more
remember-
specifics of his plan to do
As
exactly
you remember, her claim was child poverty will be cut in half as a result of the American Rescue Plan. So as we stand here today, child poverty has been cut in half. How do you feel about that, huh? Feeling good about that. Child poverty cut in half. Thanks, Jen. Wait a minute. Is it?
The president issued a memorandum on scientific
That
integrity
was another lie
and
from the
evidence-based
podium.
policymaking, directing agencies to make.
Have an update on whether the vice president plans to travel to Central America or to the border as part of her looking into the root causes?
My God, I hope so.
I don't have an update on her travel, but since you gave me the opportunity, it's important to understand and know that she is focused on addressing root causes in the region. And so travel, I would expect, would be there, the border, and
So she's
expediting processing at the
expecting
border,
travel to the
opening
border.
shelters, ensuring we're moving kids out.
If I were put in
border
charge
patrol
of that,
facilities.
that would have been
That
the
is
first
really
thing I
under the
did.
purview
I would have
of
gone down
Department
there
of Homeland
immediately.
Security and
Not this
HHS.
woman.
And they will all work together, but the vice president's focus is on
She's going to do
the
her
region,
hyena
root
laugh
causes,
and
engaging
do
with
nothing, and I hope to
governments
God
directly.
she gets blamed for the complete failure.
What do we expect Beijing to do? Well, certainly when we engage with partners in the region, China is one of those countries, of course, in the region. I don't think I have anything more in terms of calls for action, other than we have worked through the National Security Council.
She did
UN
not
Security
even
Council,
answer,
I
come
should
close
say,
to answering
through
the
several
question.
global
That's
entities
hilarious.
To ensure we are.
How are these discussions have been going?
Well, I know that he's spent a fair amount of time on these discussions and
Did she
working on
ask you how
addressing
much
and
time he
stemming the
spent? No.
humanitarian, crisis, but also working toward some element of a ceasefire, of course, in the region. I would point you to the State Department where he
She doesn't
works
know. In
directly
other
for
words,
any
she
update on
doesn't
the
know.
discussions.
Just say
We're,
that,
of course,
Jen. Just
receiving
say you don't
updates here
know.
as well. Members of the P5+1, China is, of course, a member of that. And
P5
we,
plus one?
of course,
What?
will take a look at and ensure
Pentagon?
that any
Pentagonals?
sanctions that need to be implemented would be
The
as it
Tri-Stars,
relates to
the
this
Tri-Stats,
package,
and the
but we haven't
Tri-Countries.
looked at the specific agreement yet at this point in time.
The bicycle,
so
the
our
bi-country,
approach
and the
remains the
bi-regions.
same, and nothing has changed about our approach.
The doubles, the doubles, and the quadrubles.
Concerned about it.
A member of the P5+1, an important partner as it related to getting the deal passed to
I'm
begin with.
uncomfortable.
Certainly would be an important partner as we look ahead to a diplomatic approach. At this point in time,
She doesn't
we're still,
have an answer.
working through those steps and don't have an update on the engagement. And that is not his intention.
Because he's a
Thank you.
buffoon
Thanks, everyone. Okay.
and he can't represent the United States to Kim Jong. I don't have much of epilogue for this video. Pretty non-eventful, not a whole lot of substance to it. So I just want to remind you, tune in to Drew Hernandez for his undercover investigative journalism and his truths and his preaching the word. He is absolutely on. So thanks for joining me. Talk to you later.